welcome back to Build It TV. My name is Rob and I'm here with Joe and his awesome Civic Turbo. Tell me a little bit about the car and how you got it.
So I previously owned a 95 EG LSI, had that resprayed in Thunder Grey from obviously the original colour being that, it was just to freshen up. I then unfortunately ran into some issues with rust, as you do on a car like this.
Any old Japanese
yeah,
car?
Yeah, that was it. And basically then sort of putting money aside to redo the arches and whatnot, sort of go down the route that I did with this, with the bay and all. I basically realised how sort of detrimental the arches, or catastrophic, shall I say. Sort of when I sort of had the money aside to do it, a quick sort of look on Facebook, I ended up seeing a 19,000 mile genuine black, genuine manual ESI. Sort of for me it was the dream. It was a choice of sort of 3-4 colours. When I wanted an EG, it was the Tahitian green, black, white or grey. Previously owned a grey. I was like, oh, would love a black one. Overnight I literally was like, right, I'm straight on the phone to the guy. Next minute took a trip up to Birmingham and picked it up.
Nice.
Seen it, was like, you know what, like, I'll know if it's the one as soon as I see it. Must have got 100 yards down the road, and I was like, I feel how I felt with my old one, so.
19,000 miles, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, it was my previous one, I think I bought it on 29,000, but being an auto LSI, they all seem to be on low mileage.
Yeah.
To find a genuine 19,000, I was like, oh, like, I can't let this go. I'll kick myself. So.
No, definitely. So you sold the other one? You still got the other one?
No, I've still got the other one.
Of course, because you can never have too many cars. And so, why EGs? What sort of leaning you towards that way? Because what age is this car?
It's 95. This is a N-Reg one.
When were you born?
96. So right. This is now older than me. Both of them are. It started. Must have been 8 years ago now. I had a Volkswagen Lupo, cool. 1 litre, sort of wanted one small little cool car, get me into sort of modifying and whatnot, and being sort of brought up around cars, that's sort of something I want to like pursue, was getting into cars and whatnot. Had that, and I was coming down through my town, got to the end of town and I was about to head home, seen someone that I vaguely knew of. Through various little car meets and give him like a little flash, and next day he sort of chased me around town. I was like, oh, we'll have a bit of a play. And
this was you and your Lupo?
Yeah, and he had a 1.3 Milano Red EG. Right. So had a little play, ended up parking up and chatting for, must have been 2-3 hours, just getting to know each other and whatnot. That sort of then pursued into a friendship. He then took me out in his. We must have gone for quite a coastal tour of Cornwall, and ever since then I was following it, and I seen like some, basically back in the day I was like, oh, the shiny bits, lower control arm, subframe brace, and I was like, oh, I want some of that on my car. The only way I could sort of do it was to end up going down the route of a Honda.
To have one of those, yeah.
But it was also the thing of when I don't know, sort of felt connected with being in the car. Yeah. Just the dash, the seats.
It's a weird thing with Civics, and they are just a basic car. You know, like Honda didn't design them to be sports cars. Obviously, you got the EK9s and things like that, but they didn't design them to be sports cars. They were just family cars or basic hatchbacks to be, you know, cheap and cheerful hatchbacks.
Little shopping car.
And yet every time you drive one, no matter what, whether it's the 1.3 carb, which is surprisingly quick for what it is, or a Type R, I don't know, EP3, it goes past your expectations for it. You know, every single time.
The feel, the drive, everything. It's since then I was like, right, I'm gonna have to look for one.
Yeah.
Sort of like EKs and whatnot. To me, it was always the EG that got me into wanting a Honda.
So I've always been an EK person, right? And I used to have an EK4 which I turbocharged, and that was the saloon version. Loved it. It was brilliant. But now, if you ask me, the EGs just look they've just aged better.
My granddad still remembers when we went to pick my grey one up. Sort of ended up going to Norfolk for my old one.
Local then.
Yeah, must have. He's picked something up on the way. I was like, right, we'll pick a car up and drive back. And he still said, he was like, since I'd seen it, he was like, there was sort of just something about like the squatness, and he said even just the stock sort of stance of the car. He was like, there was something you could sort of see himself that it was going to turn into.
So he's a fan of the, I don't want to say hobby, that seems to downplay it, but the fan of your interest in modified cars.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. He's both grandparents have played quite a fair part in this.
There are worse things to waste your money on.
Yeah, yeah. They played quite a big part in doing this. Yeah. Me and Grandad put the engine in the shed.
Amazing. In this shed.
Yeah. It's rolled it out a little bit, put the engine in, and still got the photo of it now. It's like celebrating, but trying to put it into a freshly painted bay was a bit scary. Cloths everywhere. Like, how much room you got on that side? Like, oh.
Yeah, that's the nightmare, isn't it? Because one scratch and it just undoes all the hard work. Tell me about the engine in the Civic.
So it's a original D16 Z6.
Yeah. They came in this car with super low miles.
Yes. Come with 19,000 miles originally. Bought from an old lady. Sold to a Honda breaker, but he realised it was too good to break.
An old lady sold that to a Honda breaker. It was like, I'm done with this car now.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Now I've put my 20,000 miles in it in 10, 15 years.
Yeah, unfortunately there was some circumstances. She fell out of love with it. And then, he bought it, stored it, lost space for storage, come up for sale on eBay. After searching for it after my grey one. A trip to Birmingham was planned, going up and buying a 19,000 mile black genuine manual EG. Being an ESI, come with a D16 Z6,
nice.
1.6 single cam VTEC, I think 125 brake. Then being the build took quite a while, it ended up being turbos, so it's got a Gizfab manifold, GT2860 RS turbo.
Nice.
A few other goodies like Skunk 2 intake, 70mm throttle body, custom made intercooler piping, 38mm external wastegate straight to the floor.
Nice,
yeah.
Do you want to have the bonnet?
Potentially in a little while. I've got a spare bonnet and some spare casing hinges, so I could always swap it over.
Nice.
And then other than that, it's pretty much a stock block, other than putting some ARP head studs in it with a little extra turn on the torque wrench to keep the head down.
Just to make sure that it's spec plus a bit.
Yeah, I don't want that lifted anytime.
And what sort of power is that putting up?
So it's 208 at the wheels, and roughly about 240 to 250 brake. Sort of depending on weather, it might be a bit more. I've seen the boost gauge creep to 7.2 psi.
Right.
When it's got a 5.7 spring in it. But it goes alright, especially in what must be around about a ton, just shy of a ton.
Yeah, I mean it's a lightweight car to produce that sort of power, which is basically twice what it would have from factory. I'll tell you a little bit about the styling on this car then. So there's a few aftermarket bits like is it just a front splitter or is it
front splitter. It's an original EG bumper, obviously with the grille cut out
for a nice intercooler to fit in there.
Yeah, it was that was a nightmare. Made the boost pipes without the bumper.
Right.
Come back with the bumper, went to fit that, realised no, that's not fitting anytime soon. There's a lot less room on an EG rather than like EKs come out quite a bit at the front.
They're sort of square at the front, aren't they?
Yeah.
So you've got like that sort of room to fit them on there.
Yeah.
But so did you have to remodify the boost pipes, or did you just cut this to make it all fit?
me and my mate Benton, that's Ryan Benton, he has a turbo EP3.
Right, yeah.
Did. Now he's building a potentially 1,000 horsepower all-wheel drive EP3. Done most of it himself in his garage.
They're doing an all-wheel drive.
Yeah, he's basically using back to sort of the forums and YouTube videos, a lot of boosted boys in America, seeing what will work with an EP3. There's a lot you can pull off, a lot of things like CRVs. So we reworked all the boost pipes. That was a nightmare, like a massive nightmare. At that point we had the bumper so we could see if they'd fit. Realised a lot of this was done without parts to check if it works.
Hopefully got some clearances against. When I did my EK, the washer bottle sits down that bottom corner. So I ended up chopping the bottom of the washer bottle and using part of a washing up tub and plastic welding it. So it was about that much shorter, so the boost pipe could run through there, but I could keep the washer bottle.
I sort of binned all the washer bottle off of this. I was like,
that's the other option.
Did buy a tiny little 1 litre one. Never made it onto the car.
No.
I got too much enjoyment out of driving it. I tripped the players. I ended up leaving the wiper blades at home. It sort of rained terribly on the way home. Pretty heavy.
I'm sure that screen is polished far enough that the world.
At that point, it wasn't. I kept having to sort of hip boost and hope the rain disappeared. So.
And obviously the headlights and indicators are different.
So got the amber indicators, JDM style headlights from Spec D. As for the rest, it's fairly sort of stock body, smooth, things like the indicators out the wings.
Nice.
They're plated.
Spoon style mirrors?
Yeah, spoon style carbon mirrors.
Spoon mirrors?
No, they didn't want to pay that
spoon style.
Didn't want to pay that for someone to potentially knock them off, but no, it does have a genuine spoon spoiler.
Yeah. Nice. That's carbon as well, isn't it?
Yeah, the sort of had that one since my grey one. That ended up making its way, Then it's got, as for the outside, it's got a JDM boot lid, so it's got a small square recess.
Yeah, nice. Makes that look different.
Yeah, putting a square plate on it just sort of suits it.
Yeah.
And then, other than that, it's mostly sort of stock body. Managed to recently find a bronze glass sunroof for it, which, if you sort of know EGs, they're pretty hard to come by.
You don't get them anywhere in Europe?
No, they're mainly America only. On sort of SIs, all of that. It was a bit of a nightmare to get across from there, but eventually turned up and went straight in.
Yeah, posting glass is not the easiest thing.
No, it's a big gamble, that.
The wheels, tell me about the wheels.
So they are Schmidt Modern Line splits, ordered in custom specs that me and my friend Harley from Shedworks ended up working out after a couple of drinks. Might have been a pretty heavy.
Take the 5 -2.
One particle of unobtainium has a nuclear reaction with the flux capacitor. Carry the two, changing its atomic isotoner into a radioactive spider. Fuck you, science!
Might have been a heavy session at the pub, and then chatting wheels, absolutely smashed. Realised that I ordered them in the morning. Unfortunately, when they turned up, went to bolt one on, went to bolt a rear on, obviously, more dish, looks better. Realised that they actually built them wrong from factory. A few back and forth messages, realised that they put a ½ inch wider barrel on, so it actually come in contact with the trailer knob. The plan was always to sort of go a little bit narrower. Ended up face mounting them, so it wasn't really a big deal. They offered to send 2 new barrels over in the size that I needed, which I think was 6 inch. They said they can build them or I can. Being that I already had plans for the wheels, I was like, you know what, I'll build them, it's cool.
Yeah.
Found a chap that would sort of put my whole face onto a lathe and machine down the face so they would be able to be face mounted.
Yeah.
some fancy hardware from Germany, and then obviously went for a pretty mental candy colour, which was
it definitely stands out.
Yeah, it's sort of close to the colour of the indicators, similar to the old colour of my ACTs on my grey Civic, but sort of just a little bit better, a lot more flake. It pops a lot in the light.
Definitely, against the black makes the whole thing stand out.
Yeah.
The chrome with the orange, it's orange, isn't it? Yeah,
it's
a real standout. And the whole thing is on LFP3.
Airlift 3P. It's using only charged dubs, double bellow bags, so onto a BC coilover.
Right, yeah.
A lot of people run sleeve bags on Civics due to clearance, the way the front is set up with the spindles and whatnot and the hubs.
Yeah.
You don't have a lot of room. Like most people end up having to shave them down. We managed to, again, that was done by Shedworks, so Harley Smith.
Yeah.
Quite a few countless hours trying to work stuff out so that it would still handle. I still wanted to be able to drive it how it should, within reason.
I think the coilover gives you that. The coilover bags gives you that sort of best of both, doesn't it? Because you've got the adjustment of the coilover, but you've got the bag.
Yeah, I can still deal with the adjustment, the damping adjustment. Obviously, being double bellows, it still handles well. Yeah, 3/8, 3P by Airlift.
Yeah.
Got twin 385 Gen 2 compressors and a custom install from Harley with mental hard lines.
Yeah, that looks awesome.
Wanted to basically, again, was up there. It was, what's the plan? Basically, race car, but not race car. Painted in the back, stripped out, don't want a false floor. Yeah, to say the least, he was like, "What have you given me?"
Nowhere to hide anything.
Nah.
Very unforgiving.
Yeah, he was like, "So where are we going to hide this? Where?" I don't know. No. That's the brief.
That's your problem.
We've got the wheel well to play with.
So would you say the paint and the airlift kit was the only thing that wasn't done in this shed?
The paint, the airlift, and there was obviously mapping.
And the mapping, yeah.
Tracking, those sort of things.
But everything else was done in here, which, I don't know if it gives a perspective on the camera, is about 3 inches each side bigger than the car.
Yeah, something about that. I can basically sort of shimmy up the side with sort of my feet like that.
Yeah.
Can't walk up it. Got maybe 3 foot at the front of the car and about a foot behind.
In the interior, what have you got? Seats?
So, gone for Recaro pole positions.
Yeah, nice.
Wanted to keep fixed buckets, but keep some comfort for non-travelling. I previously had Recaro speeds, so SR3s.
In this car?
No, they were in my grey one.
Right, yeah.
Sold them on to fund the pole positions.
Yeah.
The only thing I found sort of comparable to those, obviously being close to the speeds, which were a sort of limited one with yellow stitching, yellow writing, and like black velour.
Right.
Material, should I say? Then we went for keeping it sort of kind of like race car like inside and raw. Went for a PLM X brace, which has both the winglet bars on the sides and the top and bottom bars, rather than just an X. Again, that was something that come from America. And then got a harness bar with 4-point Takata harnesses in black to sort of keep it all toned down inside.
Discreet, yeah.
And then as for the little details, I've got a personal steering wheel, the Grinta 330.
Yeah. It's the best steering wheel.
Yeah, I wanted one for quite a while.
People love Nardi's. I don't know Nardi and Personal, the same company basically, but people love Nardi's, but that is my favourite wheel.
Yeah, hands down. Before I've had sort of cars where you sort of like look at different angles and you're not quite happy with that. This, from pretty much all the angles, I'll look and I'll go, actually, like, I'm pretty happy with that. There's not really a lot I changed.
What's the plans for 2022?
Potentially a new set of wheels.
Oh really?
Yeah. Maybe go away from the candy. I'll keep these wheels. And
is that if you get the right offer on these wheels?
No, they'll be kept.
Really?
Yeah, they'll just go into storage for the minute.
They'll
probably
go into a grey EG, I reckon, at some point.
Well, the wheels were originally bought for that. That was what the plan was. But yeah, it's potentially a few more changes in the engine bay. Smooth a little bit more. Keep it sort of OEM plus to a degree.
Yeah.
Potentially a new set of wheels, maybe a different colour combination. As for inside, the boot build, the sort of setup inside, it's and obviously outside was pretty much how I want it.
Yeah.
Maybe a few bits of carbon, maybe a few bits on the way already, so start stockpiling more stuff. So yeah, I'd like to say thanks to Keith Pullen at JMS Hondas. Supplied pretty much 95% of the bits for this build. Anything that I could get was pretty much done through him. Thanks to Ryan Venton for obviously building the exhaust, boost pipes, a lot of late nights messing around in the shed. Dan Barrett for going through the final bits of getting it on the road. A lot of, again, late night in his sort of garage, trying to get the last bits done. He runs a garage called 1303. Yeah, I'll send that to you in a minute. Yeah, runs a garage up in near Liscard. And then yeah, Ryan Oldworth at RR Coatings for the paint, the countless hours into the engine bay, and yeah, trying to get it like glass, along with Lee from Shoreline Detailing finishing it off ready for shows.
Nice, yeah.
Anyone else that knows that you've been a part, that have spent time in the shed trying to crack on with it. Also the missus for giving her a stressful time trying to build this. Yeah. Yeah. Oh no.
Cool.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Sweet.